The sun had finally set, marking the end of another grueling day at the construction site. Every bone in his body ached, a testament to the hours of heavy lifting and relentless labor under the sun's unforgiving glare. He stood there, a silhouette against the warm orange sky, surrounded by the skeletal frames of unfinished walls and the cold steel of scaffolding. It was a scene he knew all too well, a daily cycle of exhaustion that left little room for anything else. As the last rays of light faded, a heavy silence fell over the site, and with it, a creeping sense of doubt. He slumped onto a pile of bricks, the rough texture a stark contrast to his weary thoughts. He let his head hang low, his helmet resting on his knee. He looked at his calloused hands, the tools lying beside him, and a question echoed in the quiet chambers of his mind. Did any of this truly matter? Day in and day out, he toiled, pouring his sweat and strength into these structures. But for what? The scale of the project felt immense, overwhelming. He felt like a tiny, insignificant cog in a gigantic, indifferent machine. The sense of purpose that had once driven him now felt distant, almost like a forgotten dream. Was his hard work making any real difference, or was he just chipping away at an endless mountain of tasks? His gaze drifted to the wall he'd been working on all day. It loomed before him, an imposing structure of brick and mortar, yet it felt more like a monument to his own inadequacy. It was far from finished, stretching upward with countless gaps and missing pieces, a stark, visual reminder of how much was left to do. It seemed to mock his efforts, its incompleteness mirroring the emptiness he felt inside. Each missing brick was a question mark, each gap a challenge he wasn't sure he could meet. The wall wasn't just incomplete, it felt endless, an impossible task that would consume him without ever offering the satisfaction of completion. In that moment of profound doubt, a thought, both tempting and terrifying, took root. He could just walk away. He could leave his tools, his helmet, his half-built wall, and never look back. He pictured himself turning his back on the dust and the noise, finding an easier path, a life without this constant, grinding pressure. For a heartbeat, the idea was liberating. He even began to turn, his body tense with the conflict raging within him. The weight of his helmet in his hand felt symbolic, as if he was holding his entire commitment, ready to drop it and be free. The struggle was etched on his face, a silent battle between giving up and pressing on. But then, something shifted, a flicker of defiance, a spark of the old resolve. He looked back at the wall, then down at his hands. He thought, no, not yet, not like this. He couldn't leave on a note of defeat. He wouldn't solve the entire problem tonight. He wouldn't finish the wall, but he could do one more thing, just one. He reached for a single brick. He decided, right then and there, that before he left, he would place just one more. It was a small act, almost insignificant in the grand scheme of the project, but in that moment, it felt monumental. It was a choice, a decision to take one small step forward instead of giving up. He held the brick with a newfound care, its weight familiar and grounded in his hands. This wasn't just another brick, it was a symbol of his decision to endure. He approached the wall not with the weariness of before, but with a quiet, focused intent. He carefully troweled a bed of fresh mortar, his movements practiced and deliberate. There was a certain grace in the motion, a rhythm he had almost forgotten he possessed. He wasn't thinking about the thousands of bricks that remained, only this one. This single, solitary piece of clay was his entire world. With steady hands, he set the brick gently into its designated place on the wall. He tapped it lightly, ensuring it was perfectly aligned, perfectly settled. The sound was a soft, satisfying thud that broke the evening silence. In the grand, imposing structure, this one addition seemed like nothing. It didn't dramatically change the wall's appearance. It was a tiny victory, almost invisible to anyone else. But to him, it meant everything. As he looked at it, nestled perfectly in its spot, he felt a subtle shift inside. It wasn't much, but it was progress. It was his progress. And for the first time that day, a quiet sense of achievement began to push back the doubt. The next morning, something was different. He arrived at the site as the first light of dawn painted the sky, a sense of purpose renewed within him. He didn't see an overwhelming task anymore. He saw an opportunity. He walked straight to the wall, picked up a brick, and placed it not just one. That small act from the night before had become the start of a new habit, a new mindset. He decided that each day would begin and end with this simple, manageable goal. One more brick. It was his promise to himself. And so it began. Days bled into weeks, the sun rising and setting in a steady, predictable rhythm. And with each passing day, The wall grew. The time lapse of his work would have shown a slow but undeniable transformation. Under changing skies, through sun and rain, the gaps began to disappear. The wall crept higher, one brick at a time. What was once a daunting, seemingly impossible task was now a daily routine, a manageable process of steady accumulation. The sheer scale of the project no longer intimidated him. He had broken it down into its smallest possible component, a single brick, a single action. He discovered something profound during this time. Each brick he laid was doing more than just building a wall. It was building him. With every placement, every measure of mortar, every tap of the trout well, he was forging discipline. The physical act of showing up, of lifting, of placing, became a mental and spiritual exercise. His focus sharpened, his resolve hardened. The sweat on his brow was no longer a sign of toil, but a commitment. He found a strength in the routine, a power in the consistency. He was no longer just a laborer. He was a craftsman, honing his skill and his character with every single movement. Soon, the results became undeniable. The wall, once a symbol of his failure, was now taking shape. It was no longer a fragmented collection of bricks, but a solid, cohesive structure. It began to stand tall and straight, a testament to the power of his daily, unwavering effort. When the morning sunlight hit it, the wall seemed to glow, projecting an aura of strength and pride. He would often stand back and look at it, a quiet smile playing on his lips. He was seeing his dedication made manifest, his persistence turned into something tangible and real. The wall was becoming a reflection of his own inner transformation. Then, one day, it was done. He placed the very last brick at the very top. He stepped back and looked at the finished wall. It was perfect, strong, straight, and complete. A wave of profound accomplishment washed over him, a feeling so deep and satisfying it brought a lump to his throat. He stood there, his hand resting on the cool surface of his creation, a silent, proud guardian of his work. All the doubt, all the exhaustion, all the moments he wanted to quit, they all melted away, replaced by an immense sense of fulfillment. His dedication hadn't gone unnoticed. His fellow workers, who had seen his daily, quiet ritual, came over. They didn't say much, but their smiles and respectful nods spoke volumes. His supervisor clapped him on the shoulder, his eyes filled with genuine admiration for the finished wall and the man who built it. They saw the result, the strong and perfect structure, but he knew the real story was in the process, the quiet, unseen dedication that made it all possible. Their recognition was welcome, but his true reward was internal. He looked down at his own hands, the same hands that had once felt so powerless. They were calloused and worn, but now they felt like the hands of a creator. He finally understood. Success isn't born from a single, grand heroic act. It's built slowly, quietly, one small, consistent effort at a time. It is built in the moments when you want to give up, but choose to do just one more thing. It's the decision to lay one more brick, write one more page, take one more step. That quiet smile on his face was one of peaceful, unshakable satisfaction. He hadn't just built a wall, he had built a better version of himself. Everything came back to that one moment of decision, that one act of defiance against his own despair. That final brick he placed when he was ready to quit, it was the last brick of the wall. It was the first brick of his new foundation. As the sunlight caught the very top of the wall, making that final, crowning brick glow softly, he knew that single brick, laid in a moment of doubt, had changed everything. It taught him that the journey of 1,000 miles truly does begin with a single step. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it today.